Ha 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 ha. I know what you came here for, and best believe I got it. What a long time you've waited for this moment here, this blessed opportunity, this video I present to you on this day. But nobody, and I mean nobody, is more excited than me. Oh brother, but first, I need you to close your eyes for a second, a minute max. I have a gift for you, a little complimentary commodity to aid you and your viewing experience. It should be around here somewhere. Silly me, I must have misplaced it. Oh, there it is. Now on the count of 3, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Put these gloves on, brother. You sit there behind the screen, requesting more Telltale from me, and every time the experience gets worse. I'm tired, defeated, demotivated, and quite frankly, I've had enough. A squabble of sorts is upon you. Telltale, over the last year, I have grown to hate this assortment of letters and everything they imply. As you know, it began with a simple replaying of Telltale's #1 hit phenomenon, or as I call it, the walking please make it stop. But here's the thing, Season 1, phenomenal. Even through its faults, I still love that game. Season 2, I vividly remember looking at my monitor right before replaying the game. I said to myself, okay, Season 1 got a little bit heated towards the end right there. Season 2 is known to have the most annoying characters and nonsensical story, but how bad could it be? It couldn't possibly get any worse. Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2 was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Ever. I'm talking long nights, exhaustion, hours and hours of trying to find any sign of brain activity across a 10-hour game. My search was not fruitful. And fast forward to earlier this year when I went to cover Season 3, I wrote 50 pages worth of a script, full of paragraph after paragraph, even recorded a little bit of the voiceover, but day after day, the amount of time that I would take to make that video would get smaller and smaller, till one day I was like, bro, I don't want to do this. But why? Why am I telling you this? What does this have to do with our goat, Big B, or Solid Snake if you look really, really hard? No, that is not. See, I thought The Walking Dead Season 2 was a fluke, and that was not the case. I'm gonna hit you with a ton of yap right now, bro. You wanted this video, you wanted more Telltale, you're getting in. Don't back out now. See, The Walking Dead Season 1 was Telltale's first major hit. If you don't know who Telltale is a gaming studio that came up heavily during the 2010s. They were everywhere making games about anything, games that were story-based with choices in the mix. The Walking Dead Season 1 wasn't their first game, but it was their first major hit. And when I say this game was a hit, I mean it was bigger than everything. This small game, made by this unknown studio, was Game of the Year in 2012. Do you know what the competition was that year? Mass Effect 3, Dishonored, Max Payne 3, Black Ops 2, Far Cry 3, Prototype 2, Persona 4, Golden, and how could we ever forget Resident Evil 6. But there's a reason this unknown studio came out of nowhere and soloed the verse. There was a lot of things that annoyed me about Season 1, but through it all, this game was so successful because of how the characters made you feel. The vibes, the atmosphere of the game was unmatched. The writing team was in there absolutely cooking. They made sure that every character felt real and relatable, very relatable. They are all so relatable. All of that humanity made Season 1 hit insanely hard even over a decade later. Season 2 had none of that. And yeah, I know there are people out there who will say the series isn't that bad, and Season 2 is actually really good, better than Season 1. Well, if more people thought that, then maybe Telltale wouldn't have went bankrupt. In fact, if more people bought the games, we never would have met Tangerine. I do not want a Season 5, but maybe if there was, we could have avoided this, and it would have been worth it. So how does this all relate to today's topic, The Wolf Among Us? I really like this game. It was everything I wanted out of The Walking Dead and more. The characters actually matter. Nobody randomly dies off. Everyone is connected in some way or another. There is an actual plot that keeps going through each episode. Now I know that sounds like the bare minimum of a story-centered game, but that's the thing. The Walking Dead skipped over so many fundamentals of storytelling that it was driving me insane. I crave the minimum. The choice aspect of the game, that always sucks. There's no getting around that, not with Telltale. But the thing about The Wolf Among Us is that there is so much going for this game. The graphics, the style is amazing. The world the characters inhabit seems incredibly well put together. You get to play as a werewolf. That alone is something we need more of. On paper, this game sounds amazing, but it's hindered by all those quirks, those things that happen in Telltale games. The characters, as interesting as they are so annoying. Bigby dares walk in a room, he's getting body slammed. Why? I don't know. I'm gonna show you a lot today. It's gonna be a long and arduous journey. And the whole time I'm playing this game and I'm making this video, I just couldn't help but think that if this game wasn't made by Telltale, we might have a sequel by now. But more importantly, I think it might have been something big, something great. So let's go through the first 3 episodes to see what they had cooking up in there.
Toad?
So for anybody that is unfamiliar with The Wolf Among Us, here's a few things to know about the universe so it doesn't sound like I'm spitting gibberish for the first 2 minutes. The game is based on a series of comic books called Fables. The entire Fable universe is based around fairy tales, or fables as that's the regular name for them. We're talking Cinderella, The Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, all those stories you heard as a kid, Disney movies, Aladdin. Basically all of those Fable characters had a crisis in their world, and that made them move into the real world. I don't know what happened, but they all seem very afraid of whatever it was. Now they all live in this little place called FableTown. And something else that is very, very important is a lot of those Fable characters weren't human. You had pigs, wolves, monkeys, goblins, ghouls. So you might be wondering, you might be asking, how in the hell is a talking teapot supposed to make an honest living in this here capitalist society? Well, they thought of that. Any Fable that doesn't look like a human uses this spell called glamour to turn them human. See, the big problem is that the spell wears off and it costs money, hella money. I was not joking about the capitalist society, it is real. All that whimsical frolicking in the woods, it's done. The rent is due, fridge empty, the children, they're hungry, and it's cold outside, we need coats, furs, the works. And on top of all of that, you might need to stay glamored up. And if you can't afford the glamour, oh, you're getting shipped off to the farm, brother. They're very vague on what the farm is. The genuine vibe is that it's not horrible. It's not the end of everything, you're not cooked. But everyone would rather not be there. The only non-human character who seems to be exempt from going to the farm is you and me, as we are Bigby. You wanna know which Fable he is? He's the big bad wolf, my Pookie Bear. And yes, he's the same big bad wolf from the Three Little Pigs story and Little Red Riding Hood, but he's chill now. He's been redeemed. Yes, he blew down a couple of houses, ate a grandma, like he ate so many people, like he was a real demon back in the day, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. But he's very chill now. So chill that FableTown decided to use that to their advantage and appointed Bigby the Wolf to be the town sheriff. And right now we have to go in. Sheriff. We pull up outside an apartment building after a late night noise complaint, and inside we find Mr. Toad. Toad is definitely one of the characters of all time, like, oh heavens. Yes, we are playing as the big bad wolf, but these people, bro, are terrible. These are not the fables of days past. Stay with me though. As you can see, bro is not glammed up. He says, oh Bigby, how are you doing? What you been up to? I say, Toad, you're breaking my heart. I find you out here not glammed up to your full potential. I'm gonna have to send you out that way to that farm. But he says Bigby is hard to get glamour because he has a kid and the rates for glamour keep on going up, but the spell doesn't last as long. Prices go up, quality goes down. I feel that. That's real, that's relatable, and that's actually a really big issue for them because they need glamour, bro. So much of their society damn near depends on it. But no, you want glamour that's gonna last 5 minutes, everything in your pockets empty him. But regardless, I'll tell him, Toad, you gotta get the glamour. Do you know what humans would do to us if they found out fables were real? Disney would sue our pants off, Toad. The mouse takes no prisoners, Toad. But all of a sudden, a TV flies out the window. So it's gotten out of hand. I'm gonna go upstairs to see what's going on. We can knock on the door, sure, but...
God damn you! Know who I am now?
Bigby throws himself at the guy, gets him on the wall, and this lady comes up and says, you got something on your face. This guy right here is the woodsman. Yes, the same woodsman who cut open the big bad wolf in the Little Red Riding Hood story, as he will remind us over and over. I try to get answers out of him, but he headbutts me, says, what are you gonna do about it? So I threaten him, I say, Woody, you don't want to do this. You're playing with your life. Then he starts blabbering about the axe and slaughter. Brother, this ain't last time. Don't let old glories bring you a new bruise. But he goes for the hook. Weave, grab him, headbutt. I throw him into the sink. Of course he goes for the razor. He's not hitting anybody with that. And this man, Bigby, I thought he was gonna jab the woodsman in his side. Grabs him again. I throw him into the bookcase. The lady says, touch me and I'll sue. He picks up a lamp. Kick his leg, send his head into the shelf. I'm not done, there's more. Throw him into the desk. There we go, you see that bottle. Then he grabs a toaster, hits us in the face, then he throws it. I throw him into the bed next, let him have it. Now I guess the games are over because the woodsman goes for that weapon. We're struggling for it. Oh, I want it, I need it, I gotta have it. Yoink! Oh, what a workout. What a glorious way to start the video. It's downhill from here. So we go to this lady, tell her she should get out of here, but she won't leave until she gets paid. She's a working gal, if you haven't noticed. Woody's in the back rambling, but his jaw is broken, so good tidings with that one. And I asked her why he was hitting her, and she says that he asked her if she knew who he was, but she didn't, and the woodsman tweaked out. He used to be really famous back in the day for saving Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. Now he can't let it go or something like that. And eventually, the woodsman gets back up, fixes his jaw, and keeps talking crazy. And brother, I don't take too kindly to that there. So... Wait, hold on. Look at this. Toad is like, Bigby, my car. And damn, that is unfortunate. Then he looks up and says, at least you're not dead. Please don't be the woodsman. It's the woodsman. Brother, I am hitting that button with maximum effort, and it is not doing a damn thing. Bigby is getting ready to bust out his special move. The lady put the axe through his head. Now she's looting the body, but bro is completely okay. The Fable people are super duper adorable. They're like superheroes. But all she finds in his pocket is change, and that infuriates her. She goes to smoke, and Bigby asks her who she works for.
These lips are sealed. Sorry. Hey, you like my ribbon?
If you don't answer my questions, I can't help you.
I'm answering them the best that I can.
So we check on the woodsman, but like I said, bro is fine, he dipped. Bigby's ready to go after him, but she's like, drop it. And Bigby's like, and asks her how much he owed her, and she's like, $100. I say screw it, give her the money. But Bigby only has half of that on him. Apparently being the sheriff that gets thrown out of windows and choked doesn't pay well. Bigby wants her to come by the office so they can talk about this situation, but she's like, at this hour? Preposterous. I'll stop by your apartment instead. How does she know where Bigby lives? And she says, oh, everybody knows, because it is the smallest, cheapest, most bummiest apartment in all of FableTown. Ouch. Damn, now I want my money back.
Hey, I need to tell you something.
What is it?
You're not as bad as everyone says you are. I'll see you around, Wolf.
YouTuber Corey Kenshin has been found murdered in the back of a white pickup truck.
We come back to Bigby outside of his apartment, and we can't even get in before hitting a side quest. There's someone hiding in the bushes. And Bigby says, come on out, I got paperwork to do. Turns out it's Beauty from Beauty and the Beast. She's like, I know this looks crazy, but I can explain. So I ask her why she was hiding. She says she didn't know it was Bigby and got scared, but she can't talk now because she has to go to work at this hour. Strange. And she runs off. But before she can get too far away, she asks us not to tell Beast where she is if we see him. I tell her, brother, no. Listen, bro, I know how these Telltale games work. I know this seemingly small choice is gonna cause somebody to get horribly angry with me for the tiniest reason, and I'm not doing it. I want no part in whatever is going on in her relationship. Think about this. She has a job that requires her to leave in the middle of the night. Anybody would be wondering where their spouse is going at this hour. Does she think Beast won't ask her where she went off to at 3 a.m.? She's not thinking this through at all. And sure enough, we get inside and here comes Beast, asking if we've seen Beauty. I say, hell yeah, she was outside a second ago. Godspeed. What we are gonna do is worry about how there's no food in this damn house and a pig on the couch. This is Colin, one of the 3 little pigs, where the others farm.
Gotta smoke?
Gotta smoke. What is this, the penthouse suite in Dubai? Brother, I just got in the house after a long day. He says 1,000 more of these will make us good on that house that Bigby blew down. Bro, it was 300 years ago. The house was made of straw, no foundation. It was doomed to fail either way. If anything, I did you a favor. And then Bigby tells him, hey, you gotta stop sneaking off the farm. But he says it sucks there and begs us not to send him back. So I'll be calm. I'll be reasonable. I tell him, fine, quit the yapping and I won't send you back to the farm. And it's a Telltale game. If he's going to the farm, he's going to the farm, bro. There's really nothing I can do about it. And it turns out that was a bad choice because he looks at my cup of water and says,
That for me?
Nope.
The house didn't blow itself down, Bigby. That's all I'm saying. Do with that what you will. Now, I'm not saying it's reason enough for me to have definitely been offered a drink, but, it would have helped ease some of the pain you once caused me, yes? It also would have shown everyone how different you are now.
okay, alright, I get beat up, thrown out of a window, choked out, gaslit. Now I can't even come home to my rundown Fight Club apartment and sip a cup of lukewarm tap water without a fairy tale creature invading my space. I sip it right in his face. He is thousands of years old, living here rent-free. Don't look at me like that. Then they talk about how Bigby used to love eating people and having a fresh start in FableTown and all the fear and anger, you know, Batman stuff. Then Colin asks Bigby to name one person that he was nice to today. Well, we don't know her name, but she's real. Alright, check me out. The woodsman thought he was in a WrestleMania match, Toad was without glamour, and Beauty was skulking around in the shadows. And this pig is taking me for all I have. No one is making nice an option at the moment, and he is still pestering me about the water. Just take it.
Thanks, Bigby.
There's someone at the door.
Bigby!
Snow?
Why do we have to yell? This is Snow White from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We never see the Seven Dwarfs, and I think that's good because the way they look in this book, but Snow is going to be our partner, sheriff, detective, deputy for the rest of the game. I don't know what her job is. I try asking her what happened. Why are we in a hurry? But she doesn't want to talk about it until we get outside. We get there, she points us to a jacket on the ground. All right, man. I mean, what we got going on out here? Snow is known to overreact from time to time. So you remember the lady, right? You know how she had arms, legs, skin, hair, a torso. Okay, now imagine if she got into a funny situation where she was just a head. That's what we're looking at. Snow asks if we know her. Is she a Mundy? Mundy is what they call regular people, like Harry Potter calls them mudbloods, which feels very charged, if you catch my drift. Bigby says he doesn't know who she is, but we just met her after a skirmish with the woodsman. Snow didn't see anybody around when she found the head, but clearly something strange is going on. Something stranger than a head being on our doorstep, that is. There's a ribbon in her mouth with a ring attached to it. Neither of us recognize the symbol. Bigby's like, damn, this must be a setup, that somebody wanted us to find the head. A mystery of sorts. Either that or we have the worst murderer on our hands here. So I look around the area before we leave, and all I find is blood and a torn piece of fabric. I take it to Snow to see if it matches her garments, but it doesn't. But I'm gonna keep my eye on her. Oh, I'm gonna keep my eye on her.
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow.
But before we leave, Snow was like, I want to tell Crane, their boss, about this. And by the look on Bigby's face, Crane is not a calm and reasonable person. But I'll tell her, go ahead, do your job. I want this to be a calm playthrough, no shenanigans. Let's have a relaxing day. So, to the office.
What are you, blind? Well, you don't see there's a line? I've been standing here a half hour already. You get to just walk in?
Brethren, I work here. I am clocking in. Rent is clearly due. You have seen my living circumstances. This is the Telltale writing that I be talking about. This is why I'm done. Like, why is this man talking to me like this? Imagine you're waiting in a line outside of like any store ever, and one of the workers go in the building and you start screaming at them for going inside the building. I have to open the store. I'm benefiting you. Oh, we are not done either.
Because you are the one bringing this to me, Miss Snow. The one who so simply stumbled upon this catastrophe on our very doorstep. The last thing I need with Mayor Cole away is a hysteria. Do you understand me?
Yes, of course I do.
Don't interrupt me, Miss Snow.
You're not gonna be yelling at Snow White like this. I'm not gonna take it. I won't stand for it. Bro is yelling at her for finding the head. What sense does that make? I take the blame for it. I say if you're gonna yell at somebody, it should be me. But really, it should be nobody. I'm doing what Spider-Man would do. And then he says he's mad at us for finding the body and not the person who did the murder. He says that Bigby is the sheriff and it is the sheriff's duty to protect the FableTown citizens. And that we have just cost somebody their life. I am the sheriff, not the infinite all-seeing watchful eye. There's one Bigby and how many fables? Most of the cast of Shrek is canon to this universe. What was Bigby supposed to do? Then he's like, tell me what you've been doing. What are the leads? I am so angry at this point. We just found the head. What leads? But then I mentioned the woodsman was one of the last people to see her alive, and that he really didn't like her. They didn't have the best relationship. And Crane says, okay, it was him, bring him in. Hold on, let's slow down. Wait a minute, we don't know. This town is cooked, bro. We have been here 5 minutes, and we've been beaten, berated, neglected, swindled, and one of the very few people who was nice to us was sliced into pieces. I have no passion for this city. And then Crane, our leader, can't even be bothered to stay focused. Bro gets up and says that he's going out for a massage, and screams at Snow White for not buying him a bottle of wine. What is happening right now? I'm sitting here, I'm writing this out. This doesn't make sense. But oh yeah, gotta cover Telltale, you gotta do more. We need more. So he leaves, and I'm stressed, and we're faced with the first open section thing. Snow is busy on the phone, so we're left alone to find out who that woman is. So the first thing I do is head over to the magic mirror. It can show us where any fable is at that very moment, and answer any question. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who has the rizziest gyat of them all? This is facts. I say to the mirror, I say to him, where's the woodsman? The mirror then shows him stumbling around. Bigby says, cool, where is that exactly? Like, what street is that? What building is that right there? But the mirror says, no, I can only show you what can be seen. Brothers, zoom out just a little bit. The sign is right there. I can Google it. So this green thing right here is Buffkin. I don't know what he is or what story he's from. He looks like one of those flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz. That has to be it, right? What else could he be? We look through this big book of fables to see if we can find anything that can help. And we see Bigby, the pigs, the dwarves, Beauty, Beast. Bigby sees Little Red Riding Hood and says this.
I think her name was Red. She didn't make it out.
What do you mean she didn't make it out? So I find the same symbol that we found on the ring in the book. We connect that to a few characters and find our Jane Doe, Faith, Donkey Skin.
The story of Donkey Skin. There was once a great king with a beautiful queen. The queen grew ill and had her husband promise to only marry the most beautiful girl in the kingdom. After a long search, it became clear that the only woman in the land that could match her beauty was... his daughter, Faith. She had a magic cloak made from the skin of her father's prized donkey that would hide her beauty so she could escape his kingdom. Eventually, she married a prince who could see past the magic cloak and knew her true beauty. And they lived happily ever after. Should I mark it, Miss Snow?
Yes. Please.
So I take our new information to the mirror and ask to see Faith.
Through powerful magic, her whereabouts concealed. Unfortunately for you, these lips are sealed.
What?
These lips are sealed. It's not my choice of phrasing, Bigby. It's simply the way this has to be.
The exact same thing she said. The devil is hard at work, it seems. So I say then, what about her husband? We see him and that brother seems to be in danger. So me and Snow get on the case. However, the office phone rings and it's Toad. He says there's someone in the woodsman's apartment making a ruckus. And it's more than just a minor nuisance. It sounds like somebody is destroying the place. And now we have the choice to either help Toad or go see Prince Lawrence. The prince looks dead and Toad sounds like he actually needs help now. So that's where we're going.
And we ended up going out the window and I landed on Toad's car.
You guys made a real mess.
Yeah. Looks worse in a day.
Is somebody up there?
Wait here.
Is that his son?
Toad's? I think.
Be nice in there, okay?
Why wouldn't I be nice? Here's the thing about the Wolf Among Us, the special quirk, if you will. Remember in The Walking Dead Season 1 where we had to raise Clementine? Or in Until Dawn where your unspoken goal was to keep everybody alive? This time around, we have to prove to the people of FableTown that Bigby has changed, that he's not the big bad wolf anymore. You can do that, or you can punch, yell, and violate them at your leisure. Now that sounds like a good premise. However, this game was made by Telltale. I want to be nice to these people, but there are so many times where they'll poke and prod and egg you on, and then it gets to a point where you're like, damn, I gotta let that dog out, and then they have the nerve to get angry at you and be like, yeah, see, he's the big bad wolf all along. These people will treat you like actual garbage. They will mentally and physically abuse you, but you cannot fight back. And sometimes it gets to a point where if you don't let loose, they will kill you. But if you fight back, oh, you're a monster. You're a demon, brother. I'm trying not to get too deep into this right now because there's going to be an example of this in a few minutes. Don't worry. What I want you to know now is that Telltale has this tendency to want to go for something in their stories, but the execution on it will be terrible. Like, you can be nice to a lot of the people in this game, but oftentimes you won't get rewarded for that. Most of the time, it's often easier to just start slapping people. They reward you for beating up the characters, is what I'm saying. It alleviates a lot of the hassle. Let's get into this apartment. We see Toad and his son, Toad Jr. You can look at the boy and see he is clearly distressed. Toad says, Bigby, Snow White. That call earlier was a false alarm. No one was up there. Sorry to waste your time. Brother, there was a man up there. He was absolutely chopped. I just saw him. I tell Toad, nah, I think I'm gonna stay up here, catch up. It's been a long time since you've talked to your old pal, the big bad wolf.
Phew. Grown-ups. Am I right? Hey, you know what? Flycatcher said you had a pretty awesome insect collection. I'd really love to see it. Is it in your room?
It has a weevil.
Cool.
That is the cutest damn thing I've ever seen. Snow takes Junior, and I'm left with Toad. And I have a paragraph of stuff written about this section, but I'm gonna keep it short. Basically, we end up looking around the apartment. Things are smashed, things are out of place. It clearly looks like somebody came in here, broke in here, and smacked the hell out of Toad. And we keep asking Toad, bro, what happened here? And bro, he is basically screaming at us, telling us to go. And I'm like, brother, let me do my job. Let me help you. Clearly, he's scared. But why?
You want to tell me what's going on?
She doesn't think much of me, I don't think.
Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say that. Progress? Mr. Toad, you're bleeding.
Take off the hat.
It was that butcher, a Tweedle, Dum or D. You gotta strip them down to their johnnies before you can tell which is which. He come bulging in, screaming about something the woodsman had. Or thought he had, I don't know. He tore up the place, beat me up when I said I didn't have it. I tried to go out the window, but he pulled me back in. It's been a hard morning, I can tell you that.
What did you tell him?
Nothing. There's nothing he wanted to know, except if I had this thing that he wanted. I would have told you. I wanted to, really, I did. But he said if word of this ever got back to him, if he ever thought you knew, or Miss White, he'd come back and kill my boy.
So yeah, Tweedledee and Tweedledum from Alice in Wonderland are out here hitting licks, and they came down here because Toad is a member of the Thieves Guild.
Dad borrows things from people who live here.
The thing they were looking for was Faith's donkey skin or coat thing. Thankfully, they couldn't find it, so it's still here for us to take. We look at it, and there's a note sticking out. We can open it, or we can give it to Prince Lawrence. I cracked that thing open, bro. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, Faith.
What could she have been sorry for?
I don't know. But maybe Lawrence does.
So we go to see Prince Lawrence, but he's dead. Oh wait, he's alive. Oh no, he's dead. We don't find out much here. It's just a whole lot of pointing and clicking. I'm tired of that. I want some action, some spectacle.
Stay here!
No!
Lady, you are in heels. Look, she is nowhere in frame talking about no. I chase bro upstairs into the apartment. He's throwing furniture at me. I follow him through a room. Then we see him running out of a window doing parkour. This can't be. I follow him into another building and you can hear him tearing the upstairs to shreds. We hop out the dumpster and bro says, hold on, we're on the same side. Brother, I don't want to hear that. You had me running rooftop to rooftop in dress shoes, and I know it's a good 80 degrees out here. Then he's gonna say that he only ran because we were chasing him. I chased him because he started running. What are you saying? I'm not gonna beat around the bush though. This is one of those Tweedledee, Tweedledum guys. He tells us where the woodsman is, and then the other one comes up and knocks Bigby out.
Yep.
Except you're lying in a dirty alley.
Yep.
With an open wound on the back of your head.
Yep. Where'd they go?
Well, after the one guy hit you, and the other one finished kicking you,
That explains the ribs.
then they jumped into a car and drove off. Come on.
So now we're taking a cab to the bar that the woodsman is at. Bigby and Snow have a long and awkward talk about Faith, the woodsman, and who could possibly do something so disturbing. The whole thing makes Snow feel bad about not being able to help the Fables enough. A lot of them live like Toad. Broke as hell.
I don't know. It's just a broken system. The Fables who walk in through the back door like Bluebeard, we have all the time in the world for them. You try and come in through the front door, through the proper channels, asking for anything, needing help. Well, I turn you away. Now things are worse off than they've ever been.
Well, that's not true.
Right. We've had it worse, but not by much. Maybe this isn't for me. I thought public service was pure.
I mean, she's really trauma dumping on me right now, I ain't gonna lie. And I say, hey, yo, you're doing your best. But she's like, nah, I'm literally a secretary. Is anybody happy? They came to real life for this. Whatever they were running away from had to be terrifying. We arrive at the bar, take one look out the window, see hooligans, and Snow is like, I don't belong here. Tells us to be safe and dips. It wasn't that abrupt, I'm paraphrasing. Before we get in there, I need you to mentally prepare for a dose of Telltale so pure, Heisenberg would be put to shame. We get inside the Trip Trap, that's the name of the bar. We're gonna be here a lot. I don't like that we're gonna be here a lot, but we're gonna be here a lot. Bigby looks at the owner, Holly, and says, we're looking for the woodsman. Where do he be? She says he hasn't been here for weeks, but she's looking at this guy and he's shaking his head. Here we go. They're being difficult. I don't know why. I tell her, please speak for yourself so I can get out of here and go back to my apartment with no AC and get 20 minutes of sleep before a refugee pig shakes me down for tap water.
Well, this is me talking, Bigby.
That's fine. I'll talk to the customers. Customer. We're gonna get GTA 6 before more than 5 people occupy this space. I'll tell them I don't want to be here, and clearly you both have some angst to get back to. Just tell me where Woody is. Let me get out of here. But then look who comes out the bathroom. My Pookie Bear. That's what I've been waiting for. See that right there? I don't like that. And if you look closer, it's the psycho from earlier. His name is Grendel. I don't know what story he's from, Holly either, but it's complicated. But the woodsman tells Grendel to chill out. So I meander my way to the woodsman. Bro starts yapping about how he was stalking a woman, walking past her house day after day, plotting a robbery. And the night that he decided to do it, he found Bigby in the house. And I'm like, bro, this is the Little Red Riding Hood story. He thinks we're here to talk about the glory days. I'm here about Faith, the girl you might have murdered. And he's like, Bigby, wait.
I didn't kill her. You believe me, right?
I believe him. Clearly he's out of his mind, but he doesn't strike me as a murderer. And the other two say that he was here all night and the night wasn't that long. But we saw him in the mirror wandering around. He was clearly drunk and recovering from the axe to the head. And of course, somehow be here all night. Now these two right here, they could be lying, but no one here is giving me murder energy. Slap a retail worker, yes, murder.
I don't know.
It's bigger than everything is what it is. But I don't get the chance to express that because Grendel chooses to crash out. He gets all mad saying Bigby only comes around here when important people go missing, that Holly's sister went missing and nobody cared, which is reasonable, but I'm trying to help Woody right now. But he takes us to another place, another realm that he didn't have to be. He starts calling Snow White all sorts of names that I'm not a fan of, and we get the option to hit him. That's a trap. I hit him and everybody goes, there you are. There's the God of Wolf. But this is a Telltale game. Choices don't matter. You can literally put the controller down or interact with these games as little as possible and things will still play out. It was so jarring to go from Until Dawn to The Walking Dead. If you don't lock in with that game, if you don't try, everyone will die. And I keep bringing this up because writing and choices are the only thing these games have to get right. No one is here for the gameplay or anything like that. The choices are the thing. This isn't Skyrim where you can explore, buy land, go on quest lines, build up your skills. These games have one major thing that they have to get right and they can't. There is no reason why I can be calm, reasonable, not hit this man, and he still turns into a white-green goblin with malicious intent. Wouldn't this sequence be more fun if you could be nice to people here and talk things out? Then you talk to your friend about the game and they say they got this thing to appear and you're like, oh, how did that happen? That is what choice-based games are supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to look at clips online and realize that the small situation you got yourself in could have went totally different. Telltale went out of business, bro. They went bankrupt. They didn't have slight failures or a little bump in the road, bro. They're done. Masses of people saw their games on sale and didn't buy them. Why did that happen? How do you go from Game of the Year to purgatory? I genuinely think it was small stuff like this that over the years build up and up and up until nobody cared anymore. But I gotta wrap this episode up, bro. We were at page 20.
Should have walked out of here when you had the chance.
Come on, you're scaring the lady.
Don't worry about me.
What is this, bro? Team Rocket, prepare for trouble and make it double. What did we do to end up in this position? Genuinely, I really gotta use the ceiling fan as a weapon and still get thrown around. He goes for the pool table, but no, I hit that. Now it's my turn. Now, revenge. Bigby is giving me nothing to work with here. Now he's throwing furniture. That's the go-to in this universe, isn't it? I take this pole and I get him. It's not enough. The abominable snowman doesn't care. There he is. There's the God of Wolf. Now he can get back. We run him down, and it's basically already over. Within seconds, Grendel is already on the ground. After dominating the field, he gets back up and runs at us. But Bigby hits him in the shoulder again, and we hop on his back, hit his neck, get his face, take this pool cue, got him, kick him in his leg. Now he looks crazy, minus 1,000 aura. And now, listen to this, hear me clearly. Now, the woodsman wants to say, Bigby, he's had enough. Where was that when he was throwing me across the room? Where was that when my body was touching the ceiling? Where was that last night when you were choking me out? See, this right here is the trickery, the illusion. They think I'm stupid. They give me the option to tear that brother's arm off or let it end right there. I am taking his arm. Of course, that was wrong. I should have left. However, I ask you again, what did I do during this whole interaction for this man to transform and throw me around the room? All I wanted to do was talk to them. They weren't even lying about the woodsman being here. Bro was here. He was. If anything, I should be taking his arm off. Cause what? Whenever he gets mad, it's okay to transform and throw couches? Then the woodsman is gonna say, is this the kind of treatment I can expect if you take me in? That is the kind of treatment you can expect when you throw me into the ceiling. They think I feel bad right now. I don't. Like, how is he even gonna talk to me? I had to tackle this man out of a window last night, and he was still trying to kill me. They think I'm walking around here with an IQ of 0.3. Let me remind you, we are playing as the big bad wolf, one of the original devious supervillains. The woodsman likes to get drunk and hit women. Holly wouldn't tell the truth, even if that means stopping a killer. Grendel thinks he can go around starting fights and nobody will fight back. Crane clearly doesn't give a damn about this job. While we are getting knocked out, thrown around, he is getting a massage. And Toad is out here walking around without the glamour, bro. Next time I see him without the glamour, I'ma smack him in front of his son. I'ma backhand his joint, bro. Now that's too much, but like, you get the picture. But Colin gotta go. He is at my house, in my chair, drinking my water, running Marvel Rivals, talking about ain't this fantastic. But I'm the monster. I'm the villain. Now the woodsman is gonna try to run away. Brother, I will catch you in seconds. But then things want to get complicated. One of the Tweedles walks in. I'm taking the Tweedle. The woodsman doesn't know anything. I have no faith in him. Everything we just did was for no reason. And I'm thinking, cool, we can question him and chill for a while. Get a nap. However, things go from bad to disastrous. How could they do this? How could they take Snow from me? Snow is gone. Faith is gone. That's two of the chillest people in the entire season out of here. This is very similar to The Walking Dead, and we still have no clue what is going on with these murders. But right now, in this moment, we're with a real detective for questioning. Everything she is saying is going in one ear, out the other, and we just keep going and going until she passes. That's weird. Crane comes in and says he dropped a spell on everybody in the building. We leave the station and drive back to FableTown.
Did she give any indication to what she was thinking when you saw her last, I mean? I don't know why, but I'd like to know that she was, I guess, fine, I suppose.
She could come off as callous sometimes, but she wasn't really. She said that she wanted to change things, make it easier for Fables to get help when they need it.
I don't know what else to say, Bigby. We have to put an end to this. It's been 2 murders in as many days. If we don't unearth our culprit, and soon, there will likely be another on our doorstep tonight.
I'll get it done.
Please, Bigby. For Miss White.
I got it.
We're gonna go interrogate Tweedledee with Bluebeard. Oh, brother, we're gonna get some answers. Bluebeard, if you don't know, is like Jack the Ripper, but in a fairy tale. Bro seems very evil, very not chill, to the degree that I'm like, how the hell did he get this job? He doesn't care about Snow, he doesn't care about a murder. He's beating up Tweedledee for the sport, the game. Crane comes in there, says, bro, what are you doing? Bluebeard says, oh, Crane, he's playing hard to get, but he's gonna talk today. When Buffkin comes back with the tractor, it is done. What is he gonna do with a tractor? There's no farmland here. Bigby wants to tap in though, and this is another will you be a good guy or bad guy kind of situation. The parkour thing, I am still very mad about that. That is the only bad option I chose though. He had me running around the city. I don't appreciate that. But now that I'm talking to him, trying to get some information out of him. Bluebeard hates that. You get friend points with Bluebeard if you beat Tweedledee up, but there is no reason to do that because Bluebeard is barely in the story. He only seems to show up when they want you to have somebody to be angry at. Tweedledee will tell you everything he knows either way. It doesn't matter. And it turns out he doesn't know anything. So Bluebeard comes back into torture, so I'll grab him, put him on the wall. But then Snow White walks in the room.
What the hell was going on down there, Bigby? Abusing a prisoner like that.
I thought you were dead, Snow.
And that makes it okay?
Yes, in one day we got 2 bodies. Too much is happening and we have no leads. For all we know, Beauty's head is on our doorstep as we speak. I ask her, I say, how are you alive? Where have you been?
After a conversation in the taxi last night, I got a call from Toad. He said his son found a body. We thought it was Faith at the time. Getting her back here wasn't easy, but hopefully we'll find something on her to help us track down the killer.
I'm glad you took care of things.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay, so I assume she was glamored to look like Snow too because there was no way they were looking for Snow and found an exact look-alike. But then Telltale does a little Telltale. Go ahead and take a listen.
So, what's our next move?
We just keep doing what we've been doing. We do our jobs.
And I'm supposed to do what? Sit around the business office twiddling my thumbs? Waiting for the big bad wolf to solve all my problems?
That is not what I said. I say we keep doing what we were already doing. I think they want you to pick one of the other options so Snow can have a mini crash out. That, or they didn't add in a response to this specific dialogue option. I don't know, bro. She then says, I know you're worried about me, but I'm not helpless. I can take care of myself, Bigby. That is delusion. There is a real killer out there that seems to be looking for you. Snow doesn't carry a gun, and if I remember her story, Snow White doesn't have any magical powers or shape-shifting abilities. What is she gonna do when trouble comes knocking? Absolutely nothing. She'd be in the back like this. There's gonna be times where we really need backup, and Snow is of no use. This moment just kind of makes Snow sound stupid, but we're gonna come back to this. Snow takes us to Toad and Junior. Junior found the rest of Faith's body, and Toad brought him in so we can talk about it. I go over to him, and they're asking the magic mirror to show them someone, but Toad waves the mirror away before we can see it, and here we go. Toad is gonna get mad at me for beating up Tweedledee. Another unreasonable crash out. After we just got done with Snow, Toad says him and his boy watched helplessly as the big bad wolf ruthlessly clobbered thy citizen of the public. That man knocked me out and stomped on my ribs after beating you with a fire poker in your house. But oh no, I hit him with a bottle. Oh, I'm a monster, I'm the scourge of earth. Why did you let your son watch the entire interrogation? I only hit him with a bottle. Every other option I chose was the good one. Brother, that same guy is gonna try to kill us like at least 3 more times. This game is much better than The Walking Dead. The characters, the relationships, everyone being connected in some way. I'm telling you, having the characters stick around and not die off every few minutes is working wonders for the plot. But we're playing a Telltale game, bro. Every time I think I'm locked in, they say some
Waiting for the big bad wolf to solve all my problems?
and mask it as this thought-provoking thing, and it drives me insane. Bro is really gonna bring his son to a torture and they're just gonna sit there and watch it. How did they even find the interrogation room? Wait a minute. Where is their glamour? I'ma smack Toad in front of his son. For the next part, we have to talk to Junior about how and where he found the body. All the while, Toad and Snow are looking at Bigby like, you had better be nice to him. Don't be yourself. They're acting like I'm gonna call the Batmobile and hold his head under it and rev the engine. I am just trying to do my job. He starts telling us how he was out late by himself at a pond. And of course, he's not glamored up, so he had to make sure that nobody saw him. But then, he heard other people nearby. So he dived underwater. And not long after that, a woman fell in the pond with no head.
So you didn't stay underwater.
I don't know if anyone saw me, but someone said, stop laughing. And then I was scared, and I went under for as long as I could.
Wait, you heard someone?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell us before?
I didn't want to be in trouble.
Were those the same words they used? Stop laughing? Try to remember exactly what they said.
They said, stop laughing at me.
Okay, TJ.
I'm sorry. After I came up again, there was no one there, and I ran home, that's all. I promise. I want to go home.
Okay, you can go.
That's all we're gonna get. I send both of them home, and Snow is fiending to go look at the body. Bigby, please, can we go look at the body, please? So we go look at the body that looks just like Snow, right down to the fit. And as you can imagine, she is not okay. The monkey thing is here too. But let's get serious, let's crack down. I start looting the body, I'm going through the pockets. I need everything, I need it all. What's in the coat? I'm taking the jewelry. We find out definitively that the body is glamored to look like Snow, but the spell isn't hidden like it should. There are things that we can see on the body that regular glamour would make it go away. This glamour is sloppy work, back of the alley, cheap. Now we gotta find a killer and a counterfeit glamour maker. And Buffkin says, yeah, anybody can make the spell with the right ingredients. It's really not that hard. And now Crane is here too. He's being annoying, of course. But listen, we're gonna pop open this tube thing because, hell yeah, Crane says no, Bigby. We know nothing of its magic. So all I have to do is move a few things around and voila. They're gonna try to tell me what to do, bro. I'm the big bad wolf. It's a picture of Snow White and a strand of hair. And Snow says that was the last picture she had of her and her sister. Now the hair. I'm gonna guess that they took it off a brush. But bro, this is a whole strand of hair. Somebody cut this from the root. Then all of a sudden the body transforms. That's Holly's sister. The one they said went missing. Hey, we found her. That's a W, right? I mean, they can't complain, but I'm about to get annoyed again. Play the clip.
We should go.
You can't go out there.
Why not?
It's too dangerous. Someone tried to kill you. Bigby, you can't let her go out there with you. You'd be putting her life at risk.
I'm gonna let Snow come with me. I didn't want to do that. I just don't want her to yell at me. I don't want to hear the yap. Snow should not be coming outside. There is a killer out there. But here's two things. It is a Telltale game. If she's gonna die, she's gonna die. The story is already written out. What we do is meaningless. And I can't remember what the second thing is. Bro, I know she wants to help people. That's great. That's amazing. I love that for her. But come on. So we go to the bar again. All I'm looking for is a calm, reasonable, fruitful engagement. But the only faith I had in this community died with her. Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk is here, and he's giving Holly the business. He wants to shoot darts, but she can't find the darts. And Jack is the kind of character that talks a lot and annoys everybody. So bro is just yapping. Yappler. But oh, they're not gonna transform and throw him into the ceiling fan. No, brother, they reserved that right for me. But now everybody wants to look scared when Bigby comes in. I know you might be sitting there watching like, yeah, finally, that's more like it. But oh no, I see what they're trying to do. They're gonna act like I'm some malevolent demon, that I enjoy ripping off arms and rule by fear. It's all gaslight. I've been consumed by it. Jack keeps going on about nonsense. We have to listen to bro go on and on and on. We get the options to throw him out, and I would love that. I would enjoy that, but I know if I do that, everybody is gonna throw a fit, despite him annoying everybody. I hate how I'm getting to this point where I have to treat the characters like bombs that will go off at the slightest bit of pressure. But finally, I get the dialogue thing to just tell her.
Don't know how to say this to you, Holly. The woman we found in the river.
Who was it?
You know who it was. All right, everyone. Clear out.
I ain't leaving her with you. No way.
Bro, sit down. What is he doing? Leave her alone. Go away. Grendel also goes on this rant about how they told them that Holly was missing weeks ago and maybe they could have found her. What took us so long? And that's fair. I feel that I do. I don't though, because I don't rock with these people like that, but I do. The problem is I'm struggling to care. For all I know, Holly's sister would have jumped me too. Hold that thought though. I want you to hear this next part too. Holly goes to sit down and Snow tries to talk to her, make her feel better. I would advise against that.
I just want
It should have been you. It should have been you, and it wasn't.
Okay, how about this never should have happened to anybody? Why do we have to immediately jump to the most hurtful, terrible options when things don't go our way? This is why I say I'm struggling to care. You could say she's grieving, but I'm not going for that. Exhibit A. They have been horrible to me, to us, this entire game. I think this is just who they are. I haven't even told you how they be talking about Snow. Snow don't even be in the room. She don't be nowhere around, and they talk about her like dirt. And I think that's a really big problem with a lot of the characters in this game. They all seem to be in groups of sorts, and anybody outside of that group is just below human. Doesn't even exist. It is not a good dynamic that they got going on down here at all. The only person who really seems to care about everybody is Snow, but nobody likes Snow because she's a princess or something like that, bro. I don't know. I don't understand why everybody is so hostile all the time. Everything we do is a problem. We can't even come down here, tell this woman that her sister was dead without getting death wished upon us. And now everybody knows that there's a murderer out there. But when you ask for help to find the murderer, the characters always find some way to make it a problem for you. I think what my second biggest issue with Telltale might be in the writing department is they don't seem to understand that you as the player also have feelings, that you too experience the characters and have opinions on them. I am engaged in the story, the mystery, the suspense is hitting, but I am struggling to give a damn about these people, which is the most important part of this game, the people. And there are nice people, there are a lot of them, but there's so few and far between that it's like, damn bro, you will have infinitely more characters being mad at you than anything else. Some characters even start off good, and then they'll slowly work their way down, bro. Snow White, I'm looking at you. I don't want to have to turn into a werewolf to get their attention is what I'm saying. Let me refer you to another game real quick. If you've ever played a Witcher game, there are times where you can reason with the people or monsters. In the case of monsters, some of them come from curses or are being affected by a curse that makes them behave violently. And the games will often reward you for putting the sword down and talking to the monster to see what's up with them. And sometimes it requires a hell of a lot more work than just fighting them. I'm talking fetch quests, doing research, getting certain NPCs involved. But when you do that, you get more out of the story and you get more money, gameplay, schematics for weapons and armor. It be lit, but you don't get that here. No matter what you do, whether it be right or wrong, it's a Telltale game. It'll solve itself. You know what? I figured it out. Playing a Telltale game is like going in a store, right? Say all you want is a sandwich and some orange juice. No matter what you do in this store, you walk out of there with a sandwich and orange juice. You walk in there, you get the stuff, you pay for it, you walk out. You accomplish the mission, good job. Or option 2, you walk in there, immediately walk back out, and somehow there is a sandwich and orange juice in your hand. Option 3, stick with me, walk into the store. You pull an atomic bomb out of your pocket, put it in the middle of the store. The store blows up, it's in ashes, it's in tatters, and there is still a sandwich and orange juice in your hand. That is exactly what it's like. None of this was in the script, I just figured it out. I cracked the code. Anyway, Snow gives Holly this thing that her sister had on her, and that flips a switch in her brain. So now we can talk normally with her. We tell her sister was glamored to look like Snow, and she's like, oh, that might have been for her job at this club nearby. The women there get glamored to look like anybody. It's a whole thing. She mentions the guy who owns the club called Georgie, so that's where we're headed next. Before we get out of here, Holly asks us for her sister's body for a funeral. I tell her, yes, we'll give you the body. That was a mistake. I immediately remember that this is a Telltale game. They are definitely gonna destroy the body, and I'm gonna get yelled at for it because I am the big bad wolf. So we get to the club, and this might be the most Telltale segment in the entire game. Remember everything I just said about the grocery store, the sandwich, the orange juice. This is that. We go in and meet the owner of the club. I press him. I say, Holly's sister Lily, she worked here. Tell me what you know. Who be the supplier? But he continues to give me the runaround, blasting music on his boombox. I go to turn it off, but he gets up like he's gonna stop me. Then he starts telling me to hit him. Well, now I'm not gonna do it because he's gonna be like, ooh, the big bad wolf. But he goes to punch me anyway. Why is everybody trying to fight Big B? The more I learn about him, the more I realize that a lot of them don't stand a chance. Bro is kind of a god, but here comes the foolery. So Georgie has this server guy working there, and he says something about Lily, but Georgie tells him to shut up and grabs this bat to punish him with. My brother in Christ, that is a grown man. What is going on here? We grab it, and now we have this section where we can destroy stuff around the club because we are the big bad wolf. But here's the thing, if you choose not to break anything, this scene gets so outlandishly awkward because it is just Big B walking around to random items and tapping the bat on them. Like, oh, I'm gonna do it, just tell me what I want to know. And the other guy's like, Big B, don't you dare. And it goes on like that for at least 2 minutes. And you want to know what happens in the end? Even if you don't break anything, he will still be like, ah, fine. And he'll break out this book with a list of people who've been to the club with some relation to Lily. I did nothing. I didn't do a damn thing. But when I look down at my hands, there's a sandwich and an orange juice. And on top of it all, Georgie says, Big B, I've had enough of your tyrannical misconduct. Ooh, I'm gonna call Crane's office and I'm gonna complain. I wanna speak to the manager. So the book he gave us is kind of useless. We don't know anything about these mysterious people. And with Lily being dead, the operation is a bust. Until we see a figure in the shadows. Big B goes to the back to talk to her, and it turns out it's the Little Mermaid. She wants to help us avenge Lily. However, she can't help us directly. She says the exact same thing that Faith in the Mirror said.
We can't talk about work.
This is a murder case.
I mean, can't. These lips are sealed. Discretion is our guarantee.
She can't say what she wants to say, but she can indirectly send Big B off to a place where Lily used to go with one of our clients. It's a motel. She gives us the room number and we go about our way. So all we gotta do is get to the room, search a little bit, find something, the episode ends, and I can go to bed. Beauty over here saying, Bigby, this isn't what it looks like. 1, I don't care what you got going on. That's not my business, nor do I want it to be. 2, it looks like you're a receptionist at a rundown hotel to support you and your husband, but you're too afraid to tell him. Maybe because nobody would want their wife working in dangerous parts like these at this hour. Or maybe he's ashamed that he can't provide for you, which causes you to take extreme measures like this one. Not out of hurtful intent. In fact, you want to spare his feelings. But by doing this, he has no idea where you are and continues to worry regardless. So it is, Beauty. It is exactly what it looks like. She also gets mad at me because I told Beast where she was that night. Well, damn. Bro, I was just trying to go home and go to bed. That is not my problem. Get a divorce. I'll tell her, Beauty, the Little Mermaid gave me this key to this room. I need to go see this room. Lives are on the line. She says no. She just started working here. She can't just let people in. But this is a Telltale game. The show must go on. But this isn't the right room. We need to get into another room that is locked. But Beauty says, Bigby, I can't let you do this. But I say, Beauty, I don't care. It is a Telltale game. You're gonna open this door one way or another. But then, Beast calls to us. I'm like, you know what? This is great. They can fix their relationship while I check out the room. However, Beast says, and I quote, Bigby, how could you do this to me? There's no way. This will not be taken to a place where it doesn't need to be. Please.
We don't have to do it.
Bigby, no! Don't hurt!
It's just like, damn, bro. I'm tired, bro. But that's too damn bad. I gotta wrap this episode up, bro. I can't go in depth on any more of this. So we beat Beast in front of his wife. And now we're in the room, and it is not a pretty sight. And as we look through the room, it only gets worse. We find a bunch of items that point to the killer recreating Snow White's fairy tale. And Bigby thinks this has to be where Lily died. We find glamour, Snow White's dress, a book. It is crazy. But then, we find something very, very scary.
What is it?
It's Crane.
So we are a little angry with Crane. It looks like he's the killer. We gotta find him. And we have no idea where Snow is. But B says he knows where she is. She stayed with Holly and the others. They set up that funeral really fast. So Bigby storms out the door. Beauty follows us out there with advice. And I don't want to hear it. I'm a wolf, not a beaver. I don't give a damn.
You were part of a very special circle. People she trusted and cared for.
Damn, it's like that. I can't even partake in the funeral activities. Guess I'll hit the corner and keep all these juicy murderer secrets to myself. Snow wraps up her speech and calls to us. I thought if I waited around, she would sneak off and talk to me. Not make a scene, not call out to me. But here we are. Holly sees us and says, "You were not invited. Scram, you devil." What did we do? And remember when I said someone would discard her sister's body, making me out to be a monster in Holly's eyes? That's exactly what happened. Crane dumped the body. But why is she blaming me for that? Snow handles all the office stuff, and they know I went out to look at that club. When would I have time to chuck the body? Why is it all on Bigby? Snow works with us. Be mad at her too, but no, she can get up there and make speeches. Snow has to tell them that Crane did that, and there's this whole blah 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 yap sesh about Bigby not caring, and I don't care about these people. I am hanging on to the single positive interaction I had with Faith to solve this mystery. I'll tell him straight up, I think I found the killer. And Snow is like, oh, maybe we should talk about this in private. Now we need privacy, okay. Because now, see, if I don't tell them who it is, they're gonna be like, ooh, the big bad wolf doesn't care, he never did. No more. No more. I tell him Crane is a psycho. And we get more yap that somehow spins back to Holly telling Bigby to leave because he attracts trouble everywhere he goes. I don't think I've started not one fight or argument. No, they are the trouble. They're the ones going around murdering each other. We go off to the side with Snow and I tell her that Crane might be obsessed with her. A little bit.
Oh my god, if this is about how Crane treats me at work.
Let me finish, gang. Damn. Bigby explains that Crane had Lily glamorize her and they visited this hotel often. There was a dress, a Fable book, a whole setup. It was crazy. You can show her the photo, but in my experience, Snow doesn't respond well to trauma involving herself. I think she gets it. Before we can talk any further, the Little Mermaid calls Snow back to the funeral as it is Holly's turn to speak, and all speakers must be present. And again, I ask, why does she get a pass? Why can't I be involved?
Constable?
Wait, easy.
I think I'm gonna go do anything that isn't working on this video right now.
1 week later.
So these guys are here and they have Big B by the barrel. I tell them I don't feel like doing this right now, gang. They say, Big B, you're gonna keep your mouth shut about everything you found out, or we're gonna blast you right now. I tell them, please do it. Take me out the game. Maybe I'll wake up in a better game like Baldur's Gate 3. Basically, they want dibs on Crane and for Big B to take a hike, but we say no, and everybody else sees us because we are not hidden. Why wouldn't they wait until Big B was alone? This is dumb. So everyone starts wondering what this is about, and I tell the Tweedles I'm not making a deal with them, so they might as well skedaddle, but they don't want to. So Holly and Grendel transform, which leads to a fight. Holly gets taken out easily like wow. Grendel gets one of them and I go for the other. But while I'm struggling, Grendel gets hit and then Big B gets blasted. We cut to Big B getting stitches, but he heals fast, he'll be fine. The doctor does a bunch of yap, but it's in one ear, out the other, bro, I don't care. We gotta wrap it up. So, Crane, how do we find him? Ideas. They find out that Buffkin was watching Crane, while Crane was watching Big B, but he smashed the mirror, so we can't use it on him. So we leave Buffkin to put the pieces back together. In 5 minutes, we're gonna be up again. And Snow White asks if we really think Crane is the killer. I don't really think so, no. Like, we have 3 episodes left to go. Would they really wrap it up this fast? Probably not. And Crane doesn't really give murderer. He's dumb, inconsiderate, irresponsible, but like chopping off heads, leaving them on the doorstep, I don't think so. But finding Crane is like our only thing right now, so what are we gonna do? Then Snow hits me with this.
Can I, ask you a question? It's kind of personal. And I don't want to offend you, but after tonight...
Sure.
It's just... when stuff hits the fan, like it did tonight, it feels like before we came to the city. It feels kind of like home. And I've heard it said that maybe in some tiny little bottled up way deep inside, you kind of enjoy it when things go wrong.
Is she serious right now, bro? No, I don't enjoy it. Okay, a little bit, a tiny amount. But I've been trying this whole time to avoid fights and arguments, but these people, they drag it out and they take things to where they don't need to be. It is a chore, a hassle with them. I'm exhausted. I don't want to make this video. This isn't what God intended for us. I'm at a point where I'm like, is it bad writing or is this the most realistic writing known to man and it's all just going over my head? So Buffkin can't finish fixing the mirror because a piece is missing and he assumes Crane took it because... why not? The mirror can still fix itself, but it's gonna take time that we don't have. So we start looting Crane's stuff to see where he might have gotten off to. We find a book with a bunch of Fable information, and there's a page torn out, something about a ring. Buffkin says it must have something to do with that witch that Crane went to see.
Why not mention this before?
No one asked me.
Buffkin!
And I'm hungover, I'm sorry.
We are the worst bat family ever, bro. An angry secretary, flying monkey, and a Twilight werewolf, we're finished.
Well, yes, it sounded like the one he got his, glamours from. I'm sure it's about this ring. They must have it.
Then Bluebeard comes in with so much yap that I'm good. We're gonna speed it up for a second here, bro, because what are they talking about? I don't care about Bluebeard, bro. What weight does he carry? He comes in and he is mad, because who isn't mad? He wants to go to Crane's apartment and see if there's anything there, but Snow doesn't want him anywhere near this, because I guess with Crane gone, she could be in charge. But Bluebeard too wants to be in charge, but we don't want that because he is evil. We need to find out where that witch is, and there's 3 places to go to find out where she may be. Tweedledee and Tweedledum's office, Lily's stuff at the bar, and Crane's apartment. Bluebeard says, I will go wherever you don't. Big B, I don't care where you go, bro. I'ma just go to the bar. This was a mistake. Grendel is in there tweaking and a fight breaks out because of course it does. Of course. That was stupid. I don't know why I went in there. We don't even find anything. So we get a call from Snow saying that Buffkin is waiting for us at Crane's apartment. Bluebeard is there and he trashed the place. We get there and Bigby is like, well darn. With no other option, we have to go to the Tweedle's office. Thankfully, they aren't there, but there is someone there. His name is Flycatcher. He's like the janitor. He lets us in and I am furiously searching for clues. And in the background, bro, oh no, Flycatcher is going on and on about how the Tweedles are actually really good guys. You just have to get to know them. They gave me a job. They gave me a chance. And eventually I tweak out. I tell him, bro, they were just at a funeral blasting it up, bro. Just blasting everywhere. An hour ago, bro. Like, what do you think these bandages are for? He was just in the back yapping about, oh, the Tweedles this, the Tweedles that. Like, bro, the glaze is insane. But after I say that, he's like, oh, never mind. And opens a secret door in their lair.
Anti-Greenleaf. AG. This is it.
We're late.
Yeah, I know. This is it.
All right. How do you want to do this? Hear anything?
anyone's in there, they're being awfully quiet.
Or maybe it's past midnight and most people are asleep at this time. Bigby, knock on this door, and behind it is Esther.
Who are you? Just so...
Well, I'm the sheriff, and this is my partner.
Boss.
That's a problem. They can have Crane, the Woodsman, Beauty, Beast, Holly, Grendel, whoever else. Don't take Snow from me. Don't make her fall off the deep end, please, Telltale, don't do it. But they kinda do. With Crane gone, she really wants to take over as the mayor of FableTown so she can help the Fables without restrictions, which is great. Crane is doing a terrible job, but very quickly she starts to get over-imposing and testy, which absolutely sucks, because in the beginning of the story, she is so chill. But oh no, brother, they have to do the Telltale thing, and now I'm watching in real time as Snow falls off. If power corrupts, which it can, it did. And that's gonna be the end of the video.
Finish it! Finish it!
Oh, you gotta finish it. You gotta do it.
So we barge in the house right, oh, we want everything. Look around the apartment and find next to nothing pertaining to Crane until we find this glamour box looking thing and the kid is like, oh no, don't touch that.
Auntie Greenleaf.
This is the witch that's been making the Temu glamour. I ask her, I say, where's Crane? And she is just as insufferable as everybody else in this town. I'm not a fortune teller, Wolf. I don't know squat skeedly doodle. And then she starts rambling about powerful forces being at work here. You know, standard senile delusions. And Snow is brand new. She's like, okay, I'm done. How about we burn down that tree right there? That tree is how she makes the glamour and pay rent because she sells it. Without that tree, brother, she has nothing. And all of a sudden, she's coherent. Oh, you can't burn down my tree. Fables who can't afford proper glamour come to me, and how will I ever afford this? That's crazy. We don't care. I was willing to deal at first. All she had to do was tell us where Crane is. But no, she wanted to give me the runaround, the eternal yap. Brother, the Fables. They cry and moan and complain about not being treated right by Bigby and all the other leaders, but when I come down here with the simplest request, they slap my hand away and spit in my face. In fact, they run behind me, grab me by my head, and whisper softly into my ear. They say, welcome to Suplex City. Yeah! To hell with this old bag and her tree. This town needs a reset, and I am ready to deliver. Until Snow says, burn that tree down, Bigby. That's an order. Well, now I'm not gonna do it. You had me, but you ruined it. Okay, you know what? Since she wants to be in charge, make the hard decisions, be in my shoes, I will follow her lead. I can do it. I welcome it. But for my services, I want her to burn down this tree herself. I want her to get down in the mud and get her hands dirty. I want everyone to be mad at somebody else for a change. Bless me with this opportunity, and I will follow her lead for the rest of the game. Will she do it? Does she do it? Of course not. Of course. Before we left, the witch says she helped Crane fix a magical ring. The ring has the power to make people tell the truth. It won't matter in a second, trust. She also said that he's at the club from earlier, so we gotta go there before he leaves. Georgie greets us and he calls Snow a name that I don't like. We hear Crane in the back room go in there and he's shaking the Little Mermaid. That's not cool.
Oh my god, Bigby!
Wait, don't!
Oh, hell. I didn't do anything, I promise you, I didn't do anything! These girls, the girls, they'll back me up. I just have to get this stupid ring working, that's all. They can't talk because of that spell, but once this ring gets through, I'll know what's going on and this whole thing will be over.
The ring is supposed to break whatever spell is going on here, and Crane was going to use that to find out who the real killer is, but that won't come to pass because the witch gave him faulty goods. We tell him that we do. Nonetheless, he tries.
What did you...
Now he's on the floor crying. Snow, I love you so much. I didn't kill those people. I'm sorry I'm not Prince Charming.
I'm sorry I didn't cheat on you and run away to Europe.
You don't?
When did this happen? Where's the Snow White DLC? And she's like, this isn't love. You're insane. But ultimately, she doesn't think Crane is a murderer, and neither do I. Just look at him. No aura. And we still have 2 episodes left. We're not done. Snow says we're taking him in, Bigby. Load him up.
I guess we know who's in charge, Sheriff.
Sometimes it's fuzzy.
Okay, when did Snow become the leader? Brother, I don't even know what her job is. What does Crane do? What does Bluebeard do? What do these people do? Bigby is the one that does everything. You know what? I don't care. Let them do what they do.
Oh, God.
If I were you, I'd keep that trap of yours shut.
Yeah, she'll remember that. Write a book about it. When she gets thrown into a ceiling fan, she'll understand. But if you think we're getting out of here easily, you are dead wrong. We go outside to the alley, and some cars pull up. Out steps the Tweedles and a mysterious baddie of sorts.
Who are you?
No. That's not how this works. How this works is you are going to walk Crane over here, like a good doggy.
It wasn't my fault.
Shut up. You're interfering with official FableTown business. Step aside.
Tweedledee, what's the, the thing the Mungies call me?
What?
My nickname. You know what I'm talking about. Bloody Mary, that's it. Thank you. And do you know why they call me that? Because some of them, they think it's funny to have their little sleepovers and go into their little bathrooms and say my name 5 times in the mirror. They find it less funny when I actually show up and feed their lungs to the family dog.
I say Crane is ours. He's mine. This is my bounty. And now things have to get dangerous.
Bigby?
I get the choice, the blessed opportunity to end Tweedledum. And I want you so bad, but all I see is him. It's not what he would do. Brother, that right there was a silver bullet. We are finished. Now she's popping the car door open, getting the woodsman's axe, and slowly creeping to Bigby's body. And there's nothing we can do about it. That silver is deadly. But hold on, wait a minute. Earlier, Snow White said she can handle herself. Clearly, she has something up her sleeve. She can save us. She can save the day.
Just take him, okay? Take Crane. But I'm not helpless. I can take care of myself. Take Crane.
I knew it was fake. I knew it! I knew!
There's a guy in the car called the Crooked Man, and he gives the okay to take that deal. Crane gets taken, Bigby's arm gets broken, and now we lay there, cooked. It may seem like all is lost, that the fire inside us has gone dim, but that's a stretch. Here's the thing, if I'm being totally transparent with you, I'm just wasting your time. Ain't that fantastic?